What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Patrick here. Moving on to the next example. In this particular question, we have to take these expressions, simplify them, and then after they're simplified, we have to plug in an x value of 2 and a y value of 4 to get an actual numerical value. So, as usual, pause the video, try it yourself, see if you could simplify to the same thing. I'm going to simplify. Maybe you'll take a different route than me, right? As I mentioned, these can be done in different ways. Just make sure you're getting the same final answer that I am. Now, here in particular, first thing I look for is any negative exponents that I can maybe like switch from the denominator to numerator or vice versa. Notice the 1/2 is positive, 1/3 is positive. So can't really do that. So I mean, from here, all that's left to do is basically to take this exponent and distribute it to the bracket, to each of these expressions. And then same thing with the bottom now. Notice the 5 is on its own, right? So the 5 is not going to go to the power 1/3. Only whatever's in the bracket is going to the power 1/3. So we'd have x to the 9 to the power 1/3, y3 to the power 1/3. And then let's simplify this. 64 to the half, it's like the square root of 64, that's 8. X to the 6 to the power of a half, that's x to the 3, y to the 2, over 5. X to the 3, okay, those are actually going to cancel out, interesting, and then that's going to be y to the 1, like that. Okay, so the x to the 3's cancel out, 8/5, can't really simplify that, and then the y to the 2 over y to the 1, well, think about it, there's 2 y's at the top, and there's 1 y at the bottom, so we're going to be left with a y at the top, like that. And so that is what this expression is going to simplify to, and then we have to plug in the x value of 2, the y value of 4. Notice there's no x values to plug in here, so we would just plug in that y value of 4, and what would we get? 32/5. So that is the answer to part A. And then moving on to part B, this one's a little bit more complex. We're dealing with some roots here, so we got the square root of 36x to the negative 10 times y. Third root of 64 x to the negative 6. Now, as I mentioned, usually I look for negative exponents, which we have 2 here, and then I usually like to switch them around. Problem is, can't do that yet because it's under this root. This x to the negative 6 is under this third root. So we're going to have to simplify that first. We're going to have to distribute that root to everything, and then after, we can take care of negative exponents and then switching them around. Now, if this x to the negative 6 was outside of this root, maybe over here, then yeah, right away I would have just brought this up. But we can't really do anything with the negative roots right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rewrite this. I don't like having roots around. I prefer rational exponents. So this square root, right, there's like an imaginary 2 there. So that's the power 1/2. Now this is a third root, so this is going to be 64x to the negative 6 to the power of 1/3, like that. Okay, and now what we would do, distribute the 1/2 to everything. 36 to the power 1/2, x to the negative 10 to the power 1/2, and then we got y to the power of 1/2. Over, here 64 is going to go to the power 1/3, x to the negative 6, that's going to go to the power of 1/3, like that. So let's continue this over here. So what's going to happen? 36 to the half, that's just 6, right? The square root of 36 is 6. Negative 10 times a half, that's negative 5. And I got y to the half over 64 to the power 1/3. That's going to be 4. And then negative 6 times 1/3, that's going to be negative 2, like that. So now we're able to switch these two. So this x to the negative 5 I'm going to bring down, this x to the negative 2 I'm going to bring up. Again, you could simplify from here if you want. Just personally, I like to even take a couple of extra steps than maybe necessary to just be dealing with positive exponents. Now, this 6/4, that simplifies to 3/2. So I'm going to actually simplify that right away. So there's going to be a 3. This x to the negative 2 I brought up. Y to the half, let's keep that there. And then this 4 simplified to 2, right? 6/4, 3/2. Now the x to the negative 2 I brought up, x to the negative 5 I'm bringing down. That becomes a positive 5, like that. Now there's no other y's around, right? So this can't simplify with anything. 3 over 2 can't simplify. Now, x to the 2 over x to the 5, a couple of ways you could do this, right? You could take 2 minus 5, which would give you negative 3. Because it's a negative, you got to bring it down to the denominator. So that's one way to think about it. You can think about it visually, which I like to do. It's like there's 2 x's at the top, 5 x's in the bottom. Okay, so what happens? Cancel, 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 cancel. We're left with 3 x's in the bottom, right? So this is going to be 3y to the half over 2x to the 3. The 3 x's in the bottom are left. So that is the final simplified expression for this in terms of the variables, right? And there's no negative exponents. You usually want to make sure that your simplified expression only has positive exponents. And then from here, I mean, we just basically plug in the y value of 4, plug in the x value of 2. Okay, so what would happen here? Kind of running out of room here a little bit, as usual. So we would have what? 3 times, the 4 to the power of a half, that's just the square root of 4, which is 2 times 3, that gives us 6. This is going to be 2 to the power of 3, which is 8, times 2 is 16. That simplifies to 3 over 8. So that's going to be the final answer to this question, right? So this is the simplified expression, and that is the numerical value. And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to find more videos like this, you can go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all my courses are organized for both high school and university. All the videos are organized by chapter. Also, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. My contact details are also on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.